Sorry. Okay, we ready to go?
Wach.
Shaka, where are you holding?
Just passing the airport.
Ah, gotcha.
Okay, where we leave off? Where are you, Parrots?
I just got on the Turnpike gas station. I'm way behind you, man. Or whatever, the Garden State, whatever you call this thing.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're on the second wide line, right? What do you want? Okay, yeah, second wide line. Yeah, Kufa. Yeah, Chizkiya, Kari, Teveria, Bar Beisar. Yeah, does everybody have that?
Okay.
I'm assuming if nobody said they don't, then they must have it. Okay, so Kufa, Chizkiya, Kari, Teveria, Bar Beisar, V'chamesa. Right, so Chizkiya read in Teveria on the 14th and 15th. He was not sure whether it was walled from Yeshua ben Nun. So Gemara asks, Milsa the Teveria? Was it a suffix whether Teveria was walled? Vaksiv v'arei mivtzar hatzadim tsar v'chamas rekes and v'kineres v'kaimel and rekes u'Teveria. Right, so rekes is, so you see that these are all walled cities. Right, arei mivtzar means cities that are protected. So it's Teveria is clearly walled. So Gemara says, because one side is water, right? So Teveria is on the Kinneret. So three sides were walls, and one side was water. So then maybe that's not considered protected. So Gemara says, if the water is for sure not a wall, the Tanya has to have a wall. Veloy shur eager, and not a wall of houses. And saviv means prat l'Teveria. Sheyama chayim comes to exclude Teveria, that the water is its wall. Right. So again, this is talking about not Purim. This is talking about that the halach is that any walled city where you have a you have a 1 year warranty or guarantee, return guarantee, right? So that if you buy a house in a walled city, you have 1 year to return it, no questions asked. So these are all considered walled cities, but not Teveria because it has water on one side. And also, if the walls around the cities are made up of houses, but since it's not an actual wall, it's not considered walled. Actually, this comes in Hilchos Erevin to make a Erevin a city. So there's a Chazon Ish that says that if you have houses close enough together that they create more wall than open, then that could downgrade a city from a public property to a Carmelist, and then you're allowed to make an Erev there. It's a big kula to Chazon Ish, and we're really samech on that in order to make city Erevin. But it won't work. It won't work for Purim, and it won't work for Bata Erechami. Either way, it seems like Teveria should not be a walled city. There's no shaila. So the Gemara answers, "Linyan Bata Erechami loy. There was no suffix for walled cities for redeeming the houses for within a year for that warranty. There's no suffix. He comes up in your mikra Megillah. His shaila is by Megillah. My prazim or my mukafin. How do you understand what prazim means, which is an unwalled city, And how do you understand Mukavim, which is a walled city? Tichsivi gabi mikra Megillah, that it says by Megillah. Why? So why is it different? Shandahani miglu, because these are miglu means open from gully, from it's open. Vahani loy miglu, and these are not open because they're walled. Vahani nami megalia, and teveria is also open because it doesn't have that wall by the water.
What?
I do, yeah.
Why don't they check and see how, excuse me, how Shushan was in the time of Esther and Mordechai? That would be that should be the criteria of what Shushan was, because that's the.
Well, I'm saying Shushan certainly didn't have water, right?
I have no idea.
Water.
I don't know where Shushan is. I don't know.
I'm assuming Shushan wasn't on the water. I think.
Most big cities are on water. Most big cities in the whole world are on water. That's how they become big cities.
Right.
Because of trading.
Right. Not Phoenix.
Well, Phoenix, just because it's a dry heat and it has icky, that's why it's grown so much.
There you go. Right. Yeah, but that's the question. Should it be exactly like Shushan? In which case it's not, because one wall is the water. I do remember walled cities are protected. And unwalled cities are not protected. And teveria is also protected. That's why it's specific. Meaning teveria is protected because you can't attack them from the water, I guess. I guess theoretically you can, but it was much harder back then. Yeah, so that's the shiloh. So therefore teveria is a suffix. I think Adar is that teveria is a suffix, and they read on the 14th and the 15th. Right? Now, there's a fascinating shiloh that the poskim ask on this. So if you take a hold that water could be a potential wall, so why is Manhattan not keeping 14 and 15? Right? Or any island is surrounded by four sides water. Right? If teveria is a suffix, so Manhattan should also be a suffix. And then someone will extend it, say the whole United States together with Canada, and you have the Panama Canal. So between Canada and maybe that's considered all walled in because of water. I know you might be laughing at this shiloh, but the some poskim ask the shiloh.
But does it have to be inhabited back then? Teveria was inhabited back then. We don't know that Manhattan.
It doesn't have to be inhabited as long as it's walled from Ma'is Yeshua ben Nun. So then that's enough, right? And Manhattan was around from Yeshua ben Nun l'chayra.
The city isn't important, just the wall.
L'chayra. We said on Friday or Thursday that only if the walled city has to be, if they were settled first and then it was walled, that's not considered walled. But the opposite we had no problem with. Right? Anyway, so that's the shiloh that they bring, and there's not any clear teretz. I think what they say is, and if that's the case, and because the whole world, every continent at some point is surrounded by water. So if that's the case, then everybody's gonna have to keep tetzvav. Right? Okay, whatever it is, that's an interesting shot. Okay, so Rav Asi Kari Megillah b'Hutzel v'Arbeisar v'Chamesa. So Rav Asi read the Megillah and Hutzel on the 14th and on the 15th. He didn't know whether it was wall from Yeshua ben Nun or not. Amar, there are those that say, right, which is interesting. Amar, we don't see that often, right? Usually Amri. No? Okay, whatever it is. Amar Ravasi. Hi Hutzel, the base binyamin. Hutzel, that was in base binyamin. Mukevas Chamim Yeshua ben Nun. He was Mukevas Chamim Yeshua ben Nun. So you see that some had a Masada that it definitely was from Yeshua ben Nun. Amar Rav Yochanan ki Avina Talia. When I was young, Amina Milsa de Shilin Lasavia, I said something that I asked to the older people on Talmud Aleph now. And I was found to be correct. Now basically we have about a half a Gemara now of different names of cities, and whether that's really there, what the current name is versus the way it used to be called. So Chamas zu teveria. Chamas really is teveria. Chamas al shum chame teveria. It's called Chamas because of the springs, the hot springs of teveria. Rekes zu Tzipori. Rekes is Tzipori. V'lomer nikra shema rekes. Mishum de bedalia berak kiraksa de nahara. It's lifted up like the what do you call it? The banks of the river. It's much higher than the river level. Kinneret zu ginoisa. Kinneret is ginoisa. V'lomer nikra shema kinneres. The Masiki Pera could call it the Kenry. This fruit is so sweet by Ginoisa, that's Peres Ginoisa, is so there's a safer Peres Ginoisa. That it's so sweet that it's sweet like the voice of the sound that what do you call it makes? How do you call it? A kino or a harp? Yeah? Fine. So that's basically what Rabbi Yochanan had said. So Omar Rava Megillah Laman Omar Rekes Lav Tferi. Is there even somebody that says that Rekes is not teveria? Meaning he said Rekes is Tzipori, Rabbi Yochanan, and Chamas is teveria. Now the Gemara is asking, no, Rekes is teveria. Well, ki shachiv inish hacha, when somebody, now the Gemara is going to go through 3 different versions of a spadim that they say on people. So when somebody dies here, right, meaning in Bavel, Hasam safti lehachi. There in Teveria, the way they say a hesped is as follows: Gadol hu b'sheishach b'shem loy berekes. He's great in Sheshach, which is Bavel, and he has a shame. He has a reputation in Teveria. Now Rashi, second Rashi down from the top says, how does Sheshach Bavel? So there's a way of reading words called atbash, right? Sometimes the Gemara Darshan said Atbash is basically Aleph, the first letter in the alphabet, and Aleph Beis goes with Tav. The second letter Beis goes with Shin. Third letter Gimel goes with Reish, and so on and so forth. So Sheshach is Bavel, right? Shin Chav is Beis Lamed. Yeah, so that's why he called it Sheshach, and that's really Bavel. Yeah, so that's the way they started. It has been Chimaski Arayin Elasam, and when they would bring the Aron over there to Teveria, when they went up from Bavel to Teveria, Sapti Lehachi, they said it has to be as follows: Oive Sridim Yoshvei Rekes. People that love Sridim, which Sridim is a name for Eretz Yisrael, Yoshvei Rekes, that live in Rekes. So Uve Kiblu Haruge Oime, come be Makabel, those that are killed in the deaths. So you see that Rekes is Teveria. What are you saying?
Did they not bury them, or they buried them on tonight in Buffalo?
Doesn't sound like they buried them. Does it?
So it's
Yeah, that's
weeks
the way you learned it?
traveling. It's weeks traveling from Buffalo to Eretz Yisrael. It's 700-800 miles.
I would think so, right? So what are you saying? That's how long it took.
So I mean, don't we try to bury people pretty quick?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a big shiloh whether you should do this or not. But and the Hanami probably took a while. Yeah. So I don't know. So anyways, so that's one thing. Kinach nafshi the Reb Zera. So anyways, that's where Rekes means Teveria. Kinach nafshi Reb Zera pasach aleh hu saftana. There was a maspid that said Eretz Shinar Hara v'Yalda, the land of Shinar became pregnant and gave birth. Eretz Tzvi Gidl Shashuel, and the land of Tzvi doesn't mean deer. It really means, it means, the literal means deer, but it means, obviously, it had something to do with Eretz Yisrael. Gidl Shashuel brought up its fine things. Ain Allah Amra Rekes, like woe to her, says Rekes, ki of the Kli Chemdasa, because it lost its Kli Chemda. Right, so that's another lashon of a hesped. So whatever it is, you see that Rekes is Teveria, and Rabbi Yochanan had said that Rekes is Tzipori. So Elo Amar, either Rabba or Rabba, Chamas zu Chame Gror. Chamas is really Chame Gror. Rekes zu Teveria. Rekes is Teveria. Kinera zu Ginoisa. Kinera is Ginoisa. V'lamar Nikrashma Rekes. Shafilu Rekonan Sheba Malayin Mitzvahs Karima. And the reason why it's called Rekes is because even the empty people have as many mitzvahs as a Riman. Right? That's where part of what we get on Rosh Hashanah, that Yiratzan, right? That you should be that you'd have so many mitzvahs like a Riemann. Yeah, Rav Yiri Amar Rekes Shma V'Lama Nikra Shma Teveria. It really was called Rekes, and why was it? But so why was it called Teveria? So Yesheves B'Tibura Shel Eretz Yisrael. It's basically in the middle of Eretz Yisrael, in the stomach of Eretz Yisrael. Rav Amar Rekes Shma. It's really called Rekes V'Lama Nikra Shma Teveria. And why it's called Teveria? Shetayva Riyasa, because it looks good, right? It looks Tayvra Teveria, right? Tayvra looks good. Amaziri. Kitra zu Tzipori. Kitra is Tzipori. We learn Shema Tzipori. She shows Barashahar Kitzipor. It sits on the top of a mountain like a bird. The Kitra and Tzipori is really Kitra and really Tzipori. But Kitra and Bechalkish is Zvulun Havoi. Kitra was in Zvulun's Chelek. The Siv Zvulun. Loi Hirish is Yosef Kitra and Ves Yoshri Nalo. Zvulun did not send out the people that lived in Kitra and Nalo. But Zvulun, Misraim and Zvulun complained al midaisav, and Zvulun was really complaining about his measurements that he got. Right? Shenemar Zvulun am cheref nashe lamas. Zvulun was a nation that did that made charav, made cherpa, made embarrassment to die. Matam, what's the reason? Mishum de Naphtali al mirai mesada. So Naphtali was on high places and fields. And Omar Zvulun, Zvulun said to Hashem, you gave my brothers, you gave them all fields. This is talking about when they split up Eretz Yisrael. You gave my brothers fields and vineyards. You gave me mountains and valleys, which is not as good as fields. You gave them lands. You gave rivers, lakes, and rivers. So Malay, cool. So that meaning they didn't really have much to work with. So Malay, cool and no, everybody's going to need you because of the chilazon, right? Because of the chilazon, which is what we make tchelas out of. Shenemar amim har yikro, right? They're going to call the people of the mountains Sfune Tune Chol, and the hidden things that are hidden in the sand. So what does that mean? Tani Rabbi Yosef, Sfune is chilazon. Sfune means it's the chilazon. Tmune hidden zutris. That's tris, which Rashi says is tuna. Right? Chol, which really means sand, zuschuchis levana is white glass. So these are all expensive things that that's found in Zvulun's property, lands that they're going to have to give. They're going to have to give to others. Who's going to tell me? This is also an interesting question. So they said to Hashem, right? Zvulun said to Hashem, who's going to let me know if anybody takes the stuff from me? There they're gonna bring korbanos of tzedek. Simen zeh yehelecha. That's gonna be assigned to you. Right? Kol anoitim imcha v'loy damim eino moyel perpakmachish loy klum. Anybody's gonna take chilazim from you, or the sand or whatever it is not gonna make any money. That's
what does that mean?
Somebody who's not successful. What does one mean?
Why are people going to steal from them more than anybody else? What is it talking about?
I mamish have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know. Anybody see or hear a shot? Why would they be scared anybody's going to steal from them? I don't know. And I don't know. Yeah. So anyways,
they just didn't know where they were. They're only complaining. The beginning of the complaint was that it's unfair. You didn't give us anything. Maybe we should tell them I did give you something. This white sand, all this stuff I gave you. But he says, well, I don't know where it is. How do I know if someone's not going to take it without me knowing? I don't know what we're talking about here. Maybe she says, no, I'll give you I'll talk that no one's going to gain if they take it without me.
Okay, I'm saying, why would he think that his brothers are going to rip him off? Okay, maybe.
They don't know what we're talking about yet. They don't know what this chilazon is.
I hear. Okay, well, I'm not sure. So anyways, the Gemara says, "V'sak the Kitron zu Tzipori." If you're saying Kitron is Tzipori, Amay Misraim Amidai. So why was Zvulun complaining about their measurements? Vahavi Tzipori milsa dadifa tuva. Tzipori, I guess it was known that Tzipori was a very fertile place, a very fertile land. So what are they complaining about? Well, maybe it doesn't have milk and honey, and therefore they were not happy with it. I saw the flowing of milk and honey in Tzipori, 16 mil by 16 mil, which is a whole lot of milk and honey.
This is another one of Adar's things. They were complaining about people stealing, and Rish Lakish is the one who backs it up.
Ah, I hear. Very good, because Rish Lakish is saying because he was a crook. Yeah, very good. So right? So maybe he had a lot of milk and honey, but not as much as his brother. I saw this chalav and dvash of the whole Eretz Yisrael. It goes like the amount of area from Beikuvi to Akar to the Gvalti. Esrim v'tartan parsi orka upusya shisa parsi. It's 22 parsas long and 6 parsas wide. So if you figure out a parsa, we won't do all the calculations now.
A parsa is
16 mil by 16 mil. Right. So it's 22 parsa by 6. And he had 16. How much did he have? He had 16 by 16 mil. That means he had a very large percentage of it. So the bottom line is, what's Zevulun complaining about? Right? So what it says, afilu hachi sadas akramadifale. Sadas and vineyards, fields and vineyards are still better than there was missing from him, and he wasn't happy with that. Okay, I don't understand how. I don't understand it. What should I tell you? I don't understand it. Maybe Dr. Corman. Sometimes he sends me to Rutzim that he finds. Maybe he'll send one. Dekanami, we have a diak on this, right? Dichsiv and Naftali on Merayme Sadr. Naftali was on the Merayme Sadr, like we said, in the high field Shmamina. So you see, they had it for Naftali. So Amar Bavo, yeah, the Akroin to Akar. Akroin is going to be to Akar, uprooted. Zu Kesari. That is, I guess it's called Kesaria, right?
Yeah,
that's the way to pronounce it.
Kesaria.
Kesaria, I'm saying. That's the way the Israelis pronounce it nowadays. Kesaria.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so this is a name here. Kesari bas Edom. She yeshavas ben acholos. This is talking about Kesaria, the daughter of Edom, and she sits in between. Chol means sand, in between two sands. Vihi haisa yaset tekuli Yisrael megilah. And she was a nail stuck in to Klal Yisrael when the Yevonim were in charge. When the Beis Hashmonai conquered them, they called her the captured building or tower of Shir, right? So okay, so now the Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Yosef Achaninu, my dichsevas. He says, I'm going to take away your blood from your mouth, from his mouth, and the disgusting things from between his teeth. And he's going to also be, Joel is going to have letters with Hashem. So what are we dashing from this pasuk? And we're going to remove the blood from his mouth. That's Beis Bami, which is a house of Avodah Zarah. A disgusting thing from his teeth is Beis Gal Yishalan. That's another Beis Avodah Zarah from them. And he's going to remain for Hashem. That's talking about the shuls in Edom, where when they're in Golos, they're going to sit there. So there's gonna be no churches, whatever, I don't know, I guess churches. But the people are gonna still have shuls. Bahaya ka'aluf bi Yehuda v'ikran kivusi. And when you're gonna have a chief, right? A chief aluf Edom, aluf Kanaz, aluf, right? We have in Bereshis, right? It's a head or a chief. In Yehuda and Ekron, they're gonna be like the Yevusi. So what does this mean? Elu tarterias v'karkasiyas sheba Edom. That's talking about the stadiums and the circuses that are in Edom. Shasidin, Sari Yehuda, Lulamid Ben Torah Barabim. That's where the Sari Yehuda, the offices of yidden, are going to teach Torah Barabim. I imagine some of the speakers at the Siyam Hashas must have mentioned this Gemara, right? That it says that what are these stadiums and the circuses, meaning the big gathering place, is going to be used for? They're going to be used for Torah, right? So that that's essentially what you get, at least by the Siyam Hashas. Fine. So Amar Rav Yitzchak. Leshem zu pamius. Leshem is pamius. Akron to Akar. Zu Kesari bas Edom. She has a metropolis in Shamalachim. That was like a metropolis, like a city of kings. Iked Amri, the Marabi Bamalchi. Some say that's where they brought up kings. Iked Amri, the Mukmi Mina Malki, and some say that's where they got the kings from. Kesari Yerushalayim, and if you have Kesari in Yerushalayim, Im Yamelach Adam Charbushtain. If somebody says that they're both destroyed, Al Tam, and don't believe them. Meaning, if somebody comes with news and says that Kesari and Yerushalayim are both destroyed, don't believe him. Yashrushtain Al Tam, and if he says that they're both doing okay, then don't believe them either. Charba Kesari Yashru Yerushalayim. But if Kesari is destroyed and Yerushalayim is good, Charva Yerushalayim, or Yerushalayim is destroyed with Yashua Kesari, and Kesari is doing good, Tam, and then you should believe it. Shenemar Amala Hechrava is going to be filled with destruction. What does that mean? Imalayazu Charvazu. If one is doing full, then the other one's destroyed. Imalayazu Charvazu. And if this one is doing good, then the other one's destroyed. Meaning the yidden and the goyim can't be successful at the same time. This we had, and you have this in Bereshit, right? This is what Rivka, when she was pregnant, so she was kicking, and she didn't know what was going on. So he said, one, you have twins, right? She went to Shem Ve'aver, and they told her you had twins, and they're not going to get along. One nation's going to overcome the other nation. Fine. Lama Tzedek, Russia is gonna be is gonna be shown niceness, and he's not gonna learn how to become a tzaddik. Meaning, we're gonna be nice to the Russian, he's still not gonna learn how to be a tzaddik. So this is another one of these discussions that are gonna be lost to love. I'm gonna Yitzchak Yitzchak's gonna say in front of Hashem, Yuchan eisav. Be nice to eisav. Amraloi Russia, so Hashem turned back to Yitzchak and said, "What do you mean? He's a Russia. Why should I be nice to him?" Amraloi Balama Tzedek, right? But he never learned Tzedek, right? So Rashi saying that he's there's nothing. Is there nothing about him? Meaning it's a question. The way Rashi understanding it is Bal Lama Tzedek. You can't find one good thing about him. So Amraloi the Eretz. So they said to him, right? Hashem said to him, "The Eretz Nechuchas Yol, in the land of good, straight people, Yol, he's going to be bad, right? Meaning he's going to destroy Yerushalayim. So he's not going to be a good guy. Amalayim Cain, Pal Yira Geis Hashem. If so, he's not going to hold on to. He's not going to see the beauty of Hashem, the greatness of Hashem." Omer of Yitzchak. Okay, so I don't know exactly what that. I don't know. Again, I don't know what that means. From Yitzchak, my dichsiv al titin Hashem me'avai Rosh's mama al tofik rumusela. Don't give Hashem to the Rishayim, right? And don't take away his nose ring. That's what it is. Yeah, that they should ever be lifted up. Amar Yaakov l'fnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yaakov said in front of Kadosh Baruch Hu, will say, Ribbon Shalom, al titin le'esav Rasha Taivas Levi. Don't give eisav the Rasha whatever he wants. So Mamai al Tafik. Don't al Tafik. What does it mean? Don't remove his nose ring. Zu Germamia shel Adar. Right. This is Germamia shel Adar. Yeah. Which some say is, I think they say it is a Germany. Some people want to bring this Gemara, right? If they'd be able to go out, they would destroy the whole world. What does this mean? They had 300 officers But Germamia of Adar, for Tlas May of Ashisin Chamishim Rezavni Ikabarami, and the 365 officers in Rome, meaning the 365 for each day of the year. And every day they go fight each other, the 300 against the 365, and they kill one of them. And then they're busy trying to get another king to protect, to take over this. So megilah, this they're so busy with their craziness, they can't ever find anything to do to the yidden, because they're so busy. They're so busy with their mishagasim, which I don't know. I like to say sometimes that if not for sports, these things they're so busy. The goyim are so busy with their stupidity, they don't have time to pay for they don't have time to start up with the yidden. I gotta put it on pause for a minute. I'm sorry.
Landau, that looks like a good little Michael you got going on there. What were you hiding there, that little bag? What you got there, Landau?
I can't take the BOGO pizza from Savannah, man. It's just not for me.
We're in Gullus, man. What should I tell you?
We're in Gullus. It's just really schmackermeises. I no more good pizza anymore.
Why, it's no good, the BOGO pizza?
Too saucy. I don't know. Try
I'm the kind of your problems, man.
Hunky's too far. Yeah, whatever. Story of my life.
It's rough.
Rough times, but we'll get through it. I believe it.
You'll be okay.
Is he in the bathroom? What is that?
And I think he just drove home from Lakewood. He just got home.
We get like a muster schmooze at halftime of the Daf from Landau.
I'll do some intermission music if you like.
Oh, that's the pshad. We're waiting for Icky to get on. Yeah, that's why we have a break. Okay, fine.
Listen, even for a couple minutes, I gotta,
Icky, we're having a little break now, a little recess. Debbie gave us recess.
Where are we up to?
A couple lines down on Amud base, above Amud base. Wow, this is very, very quiet. Okay, who's going to share some good lashon hara they heard on Shabbos? Something? Nothing? Avi, nothing going on in West Hempstead, Avi?
You don't want to know.
That bad, huh?
Actually, now we do.
No, this whole huckle thing about shutting down either all mask or all vaccines.
Right, so they went back to masks here?
No, the community is very into following the rules, but
Right.
for some reason they're holding off to see if it's really going to be enforced anywhere. And the people that are like, what do you mean you're holding off? People are all bent out of shape saying, well, you got to do one or the other. So they're kind of just trying to, kick the can down the road until January 1st when Lakeman takes over.
Right. He said he's not enforcing, right?
He's not enforcing it, but you know what? There's a show, I don't know where, put out an email that they decided to do the vaccination part, not the masks.
Hillcrest,
and they went nuts. They went nuts.
But that's in Queens. It's different.
Okay, but I'm saying they went nuts. They said, what are you doing? Vaccination, that means half the people can't come or whatever it is. Why don't you do the mask? Then everybody can come. Whatever.
Okay, sorry.
No, we're almost done with Lashon Hara. Hold on a second. So again,
no, there's no rabbis. I'm sorry, there's just no rabbis around, and I'm trying to drive home. We got women waiting to go to mikvah. I'm sorry to say, but I just put everybody on hold. I might
what does that mean?
again.
We are the rabbis. There's like a convention this week that nobody knows about.
I don't know. There's not that many rabbis available to do these things.
Oh yeah.
So, whatever. I don't know why the guy didn't drop it off already. Okay, hold on a second.
We're okay to take a break so the women of the community can go to the mikvah.
So Landau, I heard something I think you'll find interesting.
Yeah, I find a lot of things interesting.
So
don't shake your head so much.
There's a program in Germany for euthanasia. It's legal over there. Do you know what a person needs to be eligible for their euthanasia program?
No.
Full vaccination.
Nice. Nice.
I just read about that today.
I thought you were going to say parent consent.
Right.
I don't need parent consent anymore.
All right. So, fine. I'm sorry. I really apologize about that. Okay. So anyway, so
we're
that's
about to do a famous Gemara.
Yes. Now we get to a real famous Gemara. Real famous. Where's Marchuk? Real famous. They don't get much more famous than this, at least from Mechanchem.
And the niggin of the daf.
Oh, it's a niggin too?
Yeah, they made a niggin out of it recently.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, anyways, so 6 lines down. If a person says, "I worked and I didn't find," right? Meaning, I worked in the Torah and I wasn't able. Rashi says this is talking about Torah, even though the Gemara doesn't say it, but that's what Rashi says. If I work hard and I don't find it, I'll tamin. Don't believe him, because that means if you really work hard, you'll get. Now it doesn't say you're going to find what exactly. You're going to find pshat. You're going to. I don't know exactly. Lo yagati umatzasi. The person says I didn't work and I was matzasi and I found it. I'll tamin. Don't believe him either, because it's not possible. Yagati umatzasi. If he says I work hard and matzasi, then tamin, then you do believe him. All right, so meaning basically the Gemara is saying that you have to work hard in Torah. So then the Gemara says, "Hani milu b'divrei Torah, havel maso matan siyata in dishmaya," which is also a big lesson. They don't tell that this part, Aaron, is not so famous, right? But the Torah, but maso matan, when you're doing business,
Jacob, but we see it all the time that it's all siyata dishmaya.
It's 100%. The problem is that we get all agitated when something doesn't go our way in business, or this and that. We get like it's siyata dishmaya. That's the bottom line. Siyata dishmaya.
But this would seem to say that if you do good things will happen to you. It's not. You subscribe to that? Like you see Rishayim all the time being successful in Torah. This is
so that's counterintuitive. Going to be the next. So that's going to be the next Gemara. Really, very good, Avi. That's going to be the next Gemara. Well, divrei Torah lo yamron elu chedude, and for divrei Torah, it only said it for chedude. Literally means sharp, right? But it means to be for lumdus. It means to understand things. But to remember the learning that requires siyata dishmaya, right? So meaning, okay, that's a shayla. What do you mean? If I chazer, I still need siyata dishmaya. I mean, obviously, you always need siyata dishmaya. But is that how it goes? Yeah. But anyways,
I had a Rebbe 21 years ago who said the raya is from the word matzasi. We don't understand it this way, but yagati, and I came out with something, not matzasi, I found something. The Mishna is saying it's still a gift. Even though you work, it's still matzasi. I didn't do it.
Interesting. Right. Okay, you're saying it's at the end of the day, it's still a gift. Yeah, very good. I think Reb Shlomo Freifeld had that. I think he had a shtickle Torah on this. That the learning is pshat, it's like a tefillah. And then Hashem gives it to you. I think he wants that a shtickle Torah. He says, is it shayach for the gedolim to know as much as they knew? Right? It's crazy. I mean, what they know, it's to know shas with the rishonim and achrayim and shulchan aruch, and then it's when? How could you possibly do it? Let's say you just took Rashi and wrote it without understanding it. Just imagine you got an assignment like in school and just wrote out all the Rashi. How long would it take you just to write it? Just write everything that Rashi wrote. Right? How long? I mean, it's not human. But anyways, okay, fine. Gomer of Yitzchak. And Risa Russia Shasham Sachekes Loy. Avi, this is exactly what he's saying. If you see a Russia who the hour is laughing at him, meaning it's happy on Altis Garba, don't start up with him. Meaning this is again like momentum or luck. You see a guy's in luck or a guy's having momentum, stay away. Shenamar Altis Schar Pamereim. Don't start up with bad people. He's going to be matzliach. Shenamar Yachilu Dracha B'Chol. He's always going to be yachilu. He's always going to be like chayil. He's going to be strong. And even if you fight with him in din, he's gonna win. Shenemar maroy mishpatecha menegdoi. Your mishpatim, your judgments are far from opposite. Right? He's even going to see his enemies, going down. Right? Shenemar kol tzarirav yafiach behem. All of his tzarirav of people that cause him tsar. Well, it doesn't really mean tsar here, but the people that are against him, he's gonna yafir. Means he's gonna blow at them. So you see that Rishayim, when they're doing well, though, stay away because they're having mazel for whatever reason. They're having mazel, which we know already from previous gemaras and other masechtas that when they're having mazel, that's because they're getting this schar in this world, not on the next world. The Gemara asks, "Any, it's not true." It's mutter to start up with Rishayim in this world. Those who give up the Torah will give praise the Russia and Shomer Torah, and those that are Shomer Torah are going to start up with them. It's mutter to start up with Rishayim in this world. And if a person's gonna talk and say which we said before, don't start up with the Rishayim and don't be jealous of people that do things bad, right? Which I can't mean jealous, it means don't start up with them. Misha Liva Noikvay Omerkain, right? So somebody his heart is not interested in doing this will say this. Ella, he'll touch the pasuk this way. Don't start off with the bad people. Don't be like them. Don't be jealous of those that do bad. To be like them. Do not be jealous of people that do chatayim. Whatever it is, you see that you are allowed to start up with them. More answers like kasha habamili didei habamili dishmaya. And one is talking about for your own private things. If you're having a fight with a Russia, don't start up with him. But mili dishmaya, but things having to do with Yiddishkeit, then you could start up with the Rishayim. Biba is saying another teretz. Habamili didei. They're both talking about your own private things. Like kasha habatzadik gomer habatzadik sheina gomer. One is talking about a tzadik gomer. And one is talking about a tzaddik she'ena gomer. So if you're a legitimate tzaddik, then you could start up with him. If you're not, then don't. Right? Why do you look at boigdim traders, right? Who tachrish that they're chareshim, they're quiet, when a Russia is swallowing up people that are bigger tzaddik, tzaddik menu beleya. Tzaddik gomer ain't a somebody who's just a tzaddik a little bit more than the Russia, he can swallow him. The tzaddik gomer that he does not, that he can't swallow. So if you're a real tzaddik gomer, start up with the goyim. If you're not a tzaddik gomer, don't start up with the goyim. Same as shomas chekes leishani, or you could say that if he's taka having when he's really in a good spot, when you see him, he's on a roll, then stay away from him. But if not, then you could start up with him. Okay. Fine. So Amar Ula, Italia shel Yavan zeh Krakadol Sharemi. Italia of Yavan that's referring to the Rome, right? That's the big city of Rome. Bahavi Talasmeya Parsa, Talasmeya Parsa. It's 300 parsa by 300 parsa. The Yeshba Shasa Shvakim, and it has 365 streets, like 365 days of the solar calendar. And the smallest of the streets is for those that sell birds. It's 16 mil by 16 mil. And the king goes one day a year to each street. And somebody who lives there, even if he wasn't born there, he still gets a prize from the king. And somebody who's born there, even if he doesn't live there, he takes a prize on the Beis HaMelech. This reminds me of the Israelis that have American citizenship. They come in every once in a while and they just take checks and checks from the government, from the United States government. I don't know exactly how this thing works, but because they're citizens, they can come in and take and get lots of money. Right? With the corona, a lot of them are collecting money from the U.S. government. Sounds like this, right? But there are 3,000 bathhouses in the city. And there's 500 windows making the smoke go out. Sounds sort of like chimneys, I guess, right? So that it doesn't make the city black with black soot. Yeah. One side is the ocean. One side is mountains. One has got a metal wall, and one side has like is like swamps and rocks and swamps, right? So that's why is the Gemara going through this now and saying what it is? So the Marsha says there's a Marsha that says here that if this is how great Rome is, then Kol Shekain, how great the Yiddish places are going to be. Yeah. Fine. What time is it now? Should we go a little weiter? We'll stop here because it's a new sugi and I got to take care of these things. And I wrote the lady shir a little later, but I got to take care of this other stuff before. So I apologize for the delays and all that. And okay, fine. A good Tvach. A good Tvach and a good
Schar.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.